Hello everyone, this is Inayat Mir with my Windows Server 2016 configuring local storage lab. The objective of this lab is to create and manage virtual hard disks and the resize the disk volume plus a lot of other things we are going to do. In this lab we are going to use a member server and a domain controller. We are going to do a lot in command line. You will see the commands on screen while I'm typing, and you will see a pop-up window that shows you command in a bigger format so you can actually follow along with me. So let's go to look at the scenario before we move on from this screen. Your manager has asked you to add disk space to a file server that is running on a virtual machine. This virtual machine will potentially grow significantly in size in the upcoming months, and you might need flexibility in your storage options. Your manager has asked you to optimize the cluster and sector size for virtual machines usage to accommodate large file sizes for storage on virtual machines. You need to assess the best options for storage and ease of expansion for a potential future use. So we are going to first create a hard disk volume and format the hard disk using a resilient file system, and we will create a mirrored volume. So we are on LON-SVR1 server, which is a member server. So we are going to run a command to list all available drives or disks. So this is the command get dash disk. You can pipe it to where object partition style is equal to raw. So here is the command, here is the pop-up. You can look at that and hit enter. So this is coming up. You will see the list of all available disks on this host. Now we are going to initialize disk 2. We simply can type initialize dash disk space 2. That is the command which we can do. You can take a look the drives through the disk management also from computer management. You also can launch disk management from PowerShell. So you simply type COMPMGMT. So this is disk number 2. So it is not initialized at this time. You see the mark on it. Before I do, I wanted to show you before we run the command. Now we can run the command as I said before, initialize dash disk space 2. Sorry. And we can go back after initializing the disk and verify from computer management. We can refresh it. Alright, so you can see now disk is initialized. We can now partition it and use it. Now we can view the partition table also by using a get dash disk command, as you can see on the screen. The next is we have to create a REFS, resilient file system, but let's use as was advised a command through the PowerShell. but always I go back and forth and look at my computer management, where you can see how many drives we have, how many partitions we have, what is the file system. This is the command you can see on the top. We're gonna type that command, new dash partition space minus disk number 2 minus use maximum size minus assign drive letter. You pipe it to format volume with minus new file system label, which is simple, and minus file system will be a resilient file system, REFS. Just read the command carefully. If there is no typo, this command should go through and you will have this new REFS disk 2 formatted. There is a separate video where I explained about REFX benefits over NTFS. You can verify this also from File Explorer that you have this disk available. If any message pops up, you don't have to respond to format because it was done already. So you can click on this PC, you will see available disks right there. So we're gonna look at the drive letters. We did that actually, we just see the drive letters. So we're gonna bring disk 3 online, we're gonna bring disk 4 online. So it will take a time, or just refresh it, wait for a while. Now it's refreshed. This disk 3 and disk 4, they both are online. So we initialized and we brought these two disks online. We are going to create a new mirrored volume on disk 3. So we closed the computer management and opened again our disk management. So click on disk management. We are using disk 3 and 4 and creating new mirrored volume. So you're gonna start the widget with a new mirrored volume, option number 4. We are starting from disk 3 and we are adding disk 4. Just carefully take a look on the widget. So we are going to click on next and assign a drive letter, which we will choose M as in Mary. You can scroll down from G and you will see drive letter M. And we can do a quick format. Mirror is a drive label, volume label, and this will be a quick format. You can click on next and click on finish. Alright, so this is done. Disks all already got converted to dynamic. We responded to yes. So this part has been completed. It was actually not bad, very simple. We went through it. And now we're gonna look for some resizing the volumes. We are going to create a simple volume and resize it. We are going to practice for shrinking a volume. So we are going to shrink volume just for a practice purposes. So we are going to initialize disk 5 using a Diskpart utility to take a look at the disks, a list of disks what we have available. So Diskpart is a utility which we are using a lot in these labs. We are going to select number 5 disk, which is online 32 gigabyte. Simply you can just type select space disk space 5. That will select, and you will see that when you list disk again, it should give you an asterisk next to it. So that's mean which disk we are using, disk 5. And we can create a simple volume. So we converted disk to dynamic in before end of the visit. We are doing this again. You refresh and see that you can convert to master boot record, but just for the practice purposes you can simply take a look at how this works. So that is good. So you can create a partition, basic partition, which is known as a simple volume. You can use PowerShell, create space volume space simple space size equal 1024 space disk equal 5 or 1000. When you buy something, they sell it to you as 1000 megabyte as a gigabyte. So we use 1000 as a disk space. I mean, the 1000 is the size of the volume. For a simple volume size is 1 gigabyte. In other words, not technically 1 gigabyte. If I would add 1024, that would be 1 gigabyte. So drive letter we can assign to Z. You can see the pop-up already on the screen. So I'm making things a little bit more easier, so you understand better. Then we can format the disk. So drive letter is Z. That is how you assign through the PowerShell, and you can format the disk. We are in the disk already, so we simply format it. So it will format the disk. So after the format, we can confirm that the size of the disk, it was not 1024, sorry, it was 10,000. So that means 10 gigabytes. So it was my reading error. It was 1024 means 1 gigabyte. So you're gonna multiply 1024 by 10. So that is 10,000 few 100 megabyte, but 250 around that. But we are using C is a 9.77 gigabyte. As I said, if we multiply 1024 by 10, that would be 10 gigabyte. But the way we purchase disks like that, that's what it is now. So you just simply say that, okay, we have this 10 gigabyte disk. So we now gonna practice on extending a disk number 5. You can simply extend sized for the disk through the PowerShell. You can shrink the disk, you can extend the disk. All is very simple through the commands from the PowerShell. So we have extend size to 10,000. So 10,000 plus 10,000, 20,000, like 19.53 gigabytes. So we already ate half a gigabyte for no reason. So shrink space desired equal 15,000. So now you took out 15 gigabyte. Now you see the original size is approximately 5 gigabyte. So just take this all as a practice. So now we have a small volume, but we have unallocated space at the side. So this is my F7 key that gives you from 0 to 7 all commands what we went through, or you can use up arrow and down arrow. Now it is a time to shut down our server. So we do have now these disks formatted as advised by your lab steps. So this part is done. So we can shut down server, which is a member server, lon-svr1. We are back to our DC or domain controller. So we are logged in as an administrator. We are just shutting down and restarting back. You can log in back. I'm using my stored password, which is on the top right side of your screen. You can see it also. So you just looked at the host PC. On top of host you saw both. So we are going to create a simple volume and resize it, shrink. We just did that one. So we are going to install a Hyper-V module. We're going to create a virtual hard disk and reconfigure the virtual hard disks. This is the command. It's a long command, so I typed on the separately. You can take a look on that command. So this is a kind of a scenario. I didn't talk about the scenario in deep for this part. So the scenario is that you are required to create and configure virtual hard disks for use in a Windows Server 2016 server computer. The virtual hard disk is for the sales department. You decide to use Windows PowerShell to achieve these objectives. First, you must install a Windows PowerShell Hyper-V module. So that is where we went into the host one, where we have actually our virtual machines. The host one is acting as a host computer. On top of host one, we have basically virtual. So in real life environment, you have a physical computer, then you have on top of it virtual computers. So that's what we went and did these steps. So this is the command. I'm sure you have noted this command. And one more thing I want to clarify, that we will use host computer as a physical computer and virtual computers on top of it. At this time I am on my physical. In other words, I am on my lon-host 1. That is where we are going to do these two things. One is that you are going to create a virtual hard disk VHD, then we're gonna configure that one. So I paused my screen just for you to take a look on that one, that how you gonna create this 10 gig disk on a physical computer. So that is what we just went through this command, and we can do this one. We can dismount a virtual hard disk. You can use the command dismount -vhd space c:\\. Then the name was sales.vhd. So that is the command on the top, you can see. And now you can get virtual hard disk properties. You can check the properties of VHD from the PowerShell. So you can use get-vhd, and you can use this command with the name of your VHD. So I'm adding the command on the top as well. So now we can convert this VHD to VHDX file as well. We can use a convert-vhd command as I'm showing you on the top with the path. So you can use the destination path as I said on c:\\, same one which VHDX. And we also can change the sector size. This is a VHD at the moment. So make sure that you follow all spaces and all minus signs. Anywhere you have a minus sign after your command, there's a space between that. So that is why you have a very clear picture on the screen where you can see that you are using this a dash. Dash is a minus on your keyboard. So that is a conversion. So I showed you VHD before conversion. Now you can go back and refresh and you take a look on. It should be VHDX. So now you are going to set these properties. So you're changing a sector size to 4096 megabyte. 4096 bytes. Yeah, the physical sector size in bytes, we are changing that one. So that is the command you can use, and I put the command on screen as well. And now after this one, we are going to look at the properties of our VHD. That is a command get-vhd as we did before, with a path of your sales.vhdx at this time. Before was VHD. So let's do that one. That's the command on screen. Alright, so this is your VHDX properties. So let's run the last command to optimize the VHDX files. So with that, let me see if I can bring it on the screen. Optimize -vhd, that's the one. Space minus path, then space c:\\, with a full mode. So that is how we went through a couple of things from this very important lab. This could be a basic idea or basic concept once we done this command. Okay, so this could be a basic idea about these commands. So I think that I have a clear concept for you, that if you can repeat this lab one more time, if you watch, and again if you do not have your PDF version of this lab, you can request for that one. I am adding my email as well. And this was a very start. 2740B module will be helpful for you to pass your first MCSA 2016 exam. So this lab and this objective relates to your exam as well. So you become certified by taking your first exam of your MCSA 2016. I hope you would like this video. I will continue. My videos gonna be on screen here wherever I publish on my website or on any public website or YouTube, or wherever you are, you can get benefit of these videos. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.